We good?
Hey everyone. Yeah. I mean, thank you for interrupting the intro. That that's a great start already. I love it.
Hey, all of
Hey,
our episodes have a bad start.
that is true. Well, we are pretty corny people, so I mean, it is what it is.
Janky. The word is
Janky.
janky.
All right, so hey everyone, and welcome back to You Be the Judge. We are your host Charlie, aka Tukey, and my co-host.
I'm Diamond, aka Geometric Bananas.
Now, this is a podcast where we discuss other people's drama. You must defend the party you're assigned to the best of your ability, and it all will be assigned to you through a coin flip. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and you be the judge.
You be the judge right now. You can be the judge right now. You be the judge.
Here comes the judge.
You be the judge right now. Come on now and be the judge.
Here we go. Off to another episode. So today we're going to be touching on a few pretty decent topics. So one, am I in the wrong for selling a property that my parents promised to someone else? Ooh, okay. Am I in the wrong for leaving my sister's wedding before the ceremony started and leaving someone else in charge of my responsibility? Next, after that, we're going to be talking about, am I in the wrong for refusing to take down my daughter's graduation photo and replacing it with my husband's graduation photo? So, graduation photo for graduation photo. Okay, sounds like somebody's getting a little territorial. Hopefully, you have to defend him. We'll see. But I haven't read these, so we'll see. We'll see what the meat and potatoes of the story tells us.
Mhm.
And am I in the wrong for letting my pregnant coworker get in trouble? Ooh, that's pretty messed up. So let's go ahead and get started. So you want to take it away?
Yep, I'll start.
Go for it.
Am I in the wrong for not selling a property that my parents promised to someone? About 10 years ago, a family friend owned two commercial units but couldn't keep up with the associated costs like repairs, maintenance, taxes, and also needed a lump sum of cash to keep their business afloat. So he asked my parents to buy the property from him with the condition that he could buy it back for free after a few years once his business recovered, and my parents could rent it out in the meantime and recoup what they paid. My dad passed away 4 years ago and left me with the property. I renovated it and have been renting both units out since then. This past summer, the family friend, wait, hold on. This past summer, their family friend and his kids sent me a pretty aggressive letter saying that they want the property back for free under the original agreement between them and my parents. There is no contract or anything. It was just a verbal agreement. They eventually said that they'll buy it back for the original purchase price of 80,000, but the property has increased in value by 1200% since then. Plus, I've put a decent amount of money in it for renovations. I've never met these people and I have no intention of upholding a verbal agreement that I was not a part of. I told them no and not to contact me again. They've been sending me threatening letters with semi-legal threats. I talked to a lawyer and he said they have zero claim and that I'm in the clear. Am I in the wrong for ignoring them and keeping the property?
Wow, that is pretty touchy.
I gotta say, I got through that whole thing with only messing
You
up
know
once or
what? The
twice.
funny thing is, I was about to say we should play the lottery because you were doing really good up until
That
probably about
last
three
little
quarters.
bit.
Yeah, that last little bit, I was gonna say, you know what? I think it's time to play the lottery because
I
I mean,
What's
yeah,
happening? I gotta jank it up a bit.
just a little bit because your reading actually did okay on that one. All right, so let's go ahead and go along with the coin flip. And you get heads. So you
Ding.
got to defend the poster. Ding. You got to defend the poster on this one. So you got 10 minutes. You know how this works. Take it away.
Okay, so if I'm not depending, man, I spoke too soon. Defending the poster, this person had no,
You're off to a great start, by the way.
yeah, for real. They had nothing to do with the original agreement. It was between the parents and their friend. I don't even know if it was, yeah, a family friend. He had nothing to do with it, and he was just, what's that word? When somebody hands you down something, beneficiary.
Yeah, inherited.
Okay, inherited. He inherited the property from his dad because the dad passed away. After 4 years, he put in money to make the renovations to increase the property value by 1,200%. And all of a sudden, this family wants to be like, oh, you got to keep up to their end of the agreement. No, that agreement died when the people who were involved died. So no, it's not standing anymore. And if they wanted to make sure that it was still standing, the original people should have made sure that it was in writing. Even if it is between friends, you still get something in writing for situations like this. So no, I don't feel he's in the wrong because he is putting his own money into it. He's putting in the hard work. So no, if he had nothing to do with it, he's the one spending the money, then no, he shouldn't have to keep up their end of the deal that he wasn't even a part of. And he doesn't even know these people.
Okay. Well, a quick adjustment to what you said. You said the parties, only one party died. If it was both parties, nobody would be fighting for the property.
Right.
So my thing is, these people trusted their good friend to help them out. Now, nobody told the poster to invest into that property, right? He did it on his own, and clearly, he inherited it, so he's gonna obviously try to make some money off of it, turn it into a business of his own. But I feel like the people who made this original deal with the dad, they got the short end of the stick. I mean, yes, they were in money trouble, and this was done to them as a favor by a friend, right? So you would think that they'd be taken care of and honored in the long run because it's just a temporary thing that was asked of them. So how would they not get the property back? Imagine you lend somebody, if I lend somebody, I don't know, yeah, this is a bad example, but all I can come up with right now. If I lend somebody my bike and say, hey, can you just watch my bike for a little bit? That person dies. Does that bike now belong to somebody else? No, it's ultimately it's still my bike. So why would somebody else get to keep that bike if it's just being lent out? Now, yes, the person put in money to try to keep it and save it, but that money's being compensated back. So it's kind of like you're doing a favor for this person, for these people, and now now they're getting the raw end of the stick because the father was irresponsible enough, and we'll call it irresponsible because he should have put it into a will, he should have put it into writing, and it should have been in writing. So that also does fall on the friend, but it was still what you call a gentleman's agreement, right? It's between it was a business transaction, a verbal agreement. By law, is still considered a contractual obligation. So he still should have had that property returned back to him because it was just done as a favor to him.
You said that with the example of the bike. If this was lended or if the original guy's name was still on the property, then yeah, I would see your point. But he had them buy it off of him. So legally, this property belongs to the parents.
Well, the reason why he had to buy it
because he couldn't keep up with the costs and he needed money just to keep the business afloat.
Correct.
Yeah,
but it was done as a favor, right? So the dad would have been compensated for all this, and because you're transferring of real property here, you have to do it in a form of a sale because you can't just leave it in their name. Yeah, could he have gotten a loan from the dad? Probably. Which might have been the smarter option, right?
It would have been the smarter option. If you wanted to keep the property and if you wanted to hand it down to your family, the thing to do would have been to borrow a loan from your friend.
Yes. That would have been the smarter route to go. But unfortunately, neither the friend nor the father thought about this. But because we are talking about, real property here or actual, I don't know if it said it's a house or a commercial building.
It just says 2 commercial units.
Okay, commercial units. So it has to be sold or transferred in some way if they wanted to save it. I'm not sure how they did it, but it was done as a favor, right? It was a gentleman's agreement. It was a verbal agreement. So you're expecting to receive that.
It was a gentleman's agreement between the father and his friend.
It doesn't matter. It was his property to begin with.
It does matter because the gentleman's agreement was between the man who passed away and the original owner. If the man who passed away is the one who had the agreement, that gentleman's agreement no longer stands.
But the property
because
still
he's gone,
does. But the property still does.
which he legally owned it. When you and me pass away, everything that we have that legally belongs to us
Hmm.
goes down to our children.
Yeah, but this is not talking about the question is not is it legally or ethical for me to keep the properties. The question is, am I in the wrong for keeping the properties and not returning it to them?
Exactly. That's
So
what I'm
I'm
saying.
not talking from a legal standpoint. I'm talking from the moral standpoint that he's asking. Because if you're saying you're not going to return the property that belongs to them, that was theirs to begin with, that they just asked for help. Imagine getting scrutinized for asking for help.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine getting scrutinized for asking for help, because that's exactly what's happening here. The friend is being scrutinized because he asked for help. Yes, the dad died. Yes, there should have been a written agreement, but he's still getting scrutinized for asking for help, for finding himself in a financial situation.
Okay. It's definitely not his fault that he was in a financial situation. It's not his fault that
Glad I
he
broke that wall.
everything that you've mentioned, it's not his fault. Okay? But
We're gonna punish him anyways.
you know what? I'm sorry. If the son, it's by the way it sounds, he doesn't. Not only does he not really know the original owner, he doesn't know the family,
Hmm.
his kids, and it says right here they sent him an aggressive letter saying that
Hmm.
they want the property back for free under the original agreement between the original owner and the parents. I'm sorry, but if I don't know you, you are not going to come at me aggressively saying you better give me my property back.
Their
No.
approach should definitely have been different. I will say that their approach should have definitely been a lot different, but
Yeah, they should not
they're
have
also
come.
acting probably in fear. I mean, they're losing out on these massive buildings. But I will say this: if you're gonna, the part that I disagree with is you're not gonna get those properties back after I've invested a lot of money into it, the way the poster did, right? So they should compensate him for the amount of money that he spent. I don't think he should mark up the price by the 1,200% that he accounted for. But I do think he should be compensated for the amount of money he put in.
Okay, me personally, I think that them coming at him aggressively, saying that he better give them the property back, when the agreement was not even between him and the guy. It was between his father and the
Exactly.
guy.
So then why should he have rights to the property that he had nothing to do with?
Because his father legally owned the property and he got it as an inheritance.
He got his
Plus
inheritance,
he put in his own money and increased the value of it by
but nobody told him to do
1200%.
that. Nobody told him to do that. He did
If
that
he-
from a business perspective, and I get
Exactly, because he already legally owned the property by inheriting it from his father.
that. That had a gentleman's agreement to return the property back to these
The
people.
gentleman's agreement died the moment that man died, the
But,
father.
then it should have gone. The property should go back to the people, because the people are the ones who had it to begin with, right?
No, it shouldn't,
Why not?
because the father paid for it. He bought it off the guy. His name was legally on those two commercial units. So just because it's literally like he helped the friend get out of a bind, okay? And then after he dies, that it's the family saying, "Okay, well, my dad paid for this, so here you go." No, it doesn't work like that, especially if he doesn't know them.
He was doing it to help them, though. Like
Yeah,
the dad was
he
doing this
was
to
doing
help.
it to help them.
It's their property. They could
It's
have also
not
taken.
their property.
They could have taken a different avenue to try to save those properties, but they chose to go to someone they trusted.
Yeah, they went to, well, the guy, the original owner, went to his friend.
Hmm.
That friend died along with that agreement.
I don't know, because like I said, um, it is an agreement you had. It is your property, and you just transferred it just while you got some things sorted out. So I mean, the property should go back to him either way.
First of all, how are we doing on time?
Okay, so we actually just hit the 10-minute mark.
Okay.
We're actually at 10:17. So I'm gonna give you guys my true opinion. My true opinion is I think this guy does not have to give the property back to those people. And for the same argument that you're saying, because one, you inherited this property. Two, you want to come at me aggressive when I legally own that property, and this is how you asking for it back. and you don't want to give me back the money that I've invested into it for a business purpose, no, you're not getting that property back. So, to the poster, if you happen to hear this, you are not the jerk in this because you inherited this property legally, morally, ethically. This is all yours. Because here's the next thing to look at: did they really have a verbal agreement with your father? Which, by the way, um, my deepest condolences. Losing family, especially fathers, never, never, ever easy. So
Right, right.
deepest condolences for that. But you should never have to. You shouldn't have to give that property back, especially if they're coming at you aggressive like that, because you don't know if that verbal agreement was something true or if they're just trying to score the property back off of you and saying, "Hey, this is what the kind of agreement me and your dad had," when maybe there was never an agreement to begin with.
Hmm.
So that's my take on that.
And it's funny because we both got opposite. Me, my personal opinions, I think he should have given it back.
Oh, you think he should?
I think he should have.
So we should have had the opposite
Yeah.
arguments for the coin flip? No.
Yep.
You actually think he should give the property back?
I'm actually torn, but I'm leaning more toward that he should have given the property back. And honestly, this is why I refuse,
The
absolutely
verbal
refuse.
agreement could have been fake.
But
Like
this is why I am wholeheartedly against doing business with friends and
with
family.
family. Absolutely.
This for this exact reason. If I okay, back when I was a photographer, if somebody in our family or a friend asked, "Hey, you know what? I need this done. Can can you do it for me?" I wouldn't charge them. Yes, I would lose out on money, but I'd rather preserve the relationship
Hmm.
than to risk something like exactly like this.
Yeah, but he don't know these people, so man, I don't know you. You're gonna come at me aggressive like that? I'll screw you.
And see, that right there is where I agree with you that the aggressive nature that they came up, no, there was no need for that. They could have just said, "You know what? This is the agreement that our families had.
Hmm.
Since he has passed away, maybe they're in a better position financial wise just to preserve the relationship or to honor the relationship that they had.
Hmm.
Would you mind giving it back to us for free?" And it says here that they even offered to buy it back for the original price of 80,000.
Yeah, but that's not including the
That's
upgrades
not
we did to
including
it.
the exactly the
So
increased
I would
value.
have, if they would have come at me in a nicer way and not so aggressive and said, "Look, I'll reimburse you for all the upgrades you did to the property. Show me all the receipts and everything you spent, and I will gladly include that into the purchase price." Then yeah, absolutely. But
And see, that's
and
what I was
at,
going to
at that
say.
point, at that point, in my opinion, it becomes a personal preference if you want to return it or not. Because me, like if my personal experience, or not my personal experience because I haven't had this experience, but if this would have been me, I would not return that property because
Oh,
I
I
don't
know
know
you
you.
wouldn't.
I don't know you. You're coming at me aggressive, and this thing is legally mine. No, no, Sorry, you can go kick rocks.
Yeah, I would, but I would ask, okay, give me the money in payments. I still own the property. Give me payments. Once you give me the full amount, then I'll give it back to you. No problem.
Eeh, that's scary. I'm glad I'm the one that does the business dealings in our marriage.
And you know what? I told you that from the beginning. I told you that I don't do business with friends or family, and if they ask me to do something where I would normally charge,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it for free.
Oh, I know. I know. I could get into the story of how your PlayStation dealings happened when we were teenagers.
You know what, man? I was what, 16 years old.
Man, did they mop the floor with you on that one. That was
Oh,
hilarious.
oh, my mom still gives me a hard time about it.
I know. All right, so let's go ahead pick on. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story. Am I in the wrong for refusing to take down my daughter's graduation photo and replace it with my husband's graduation photo? My daughter, 18-year-old female, graduated high school and I hung her photo of her graduation party in the living room wall. She wants to go to the community college and will blah, and we'll live with, wow, they wrote that wrong. She wants to go to a community college and will live with me and her stepdad while doing that. My husband recently earned his master's degree, and yesterday he showed me his graduation photo that he framed and prepared to hang. I asked where we were going to hang it, and he said in the living room. I said, great, right next to Amy's graduation photo then. He said, not next to it, but instead of it. I was puzzled and I asked why he said it that he didn't feel it was right having his wow. I was puzzled and I asked why, and he said that he didn't feel it was right having his graduation photo, a master's degree, to be hung next to a high school graduation photo. A high school degree. Oh, I'm sorry, comma, a high school degree. Wow. He said that both photos have different weight and value and suggested I take down my daughter's photo and hang his instead. I was fuming because he refused to let her photo be hang anywhere near his, and by that he had claimed the entire wall. I refused and said this photo had been here for months, and my daughter deserves to have it on display for encouragement. He got upset and said that I was making a big deal out of it and could just use the hallway wall or something, but I refused. We had an argument about it, and he kept insisting on having her graduation photo be taken down and not be hung on the same wall as his due to the difference in degree value and weight. And also, he thought a high school photograph, or I'm sorry, a high school photo isn't hang on wall worthy, quote unquote, and called me inconsiderate of his feelings. Inconsiderate of his feelings. He says it's disrespectful to him and his efforts, and I said I'm choosing this hill to die on was ridiculous. So am I in the wrong for that? All right, so let's
First
go.
of all,
Uh-huh.
before anything,
Yes. You
for
guys
getting through that.
you guys can't see this, but I am bowing down to that clap because okay, so no. Her grammar is horrible. Horrible. Uh there's so many like past tense, present tense words completely misused. Um I don't know how you misspell the word why, but she misspelled the word why right here. Um, I had kind of just picked it up and just read on through it, but you know what? I did my best here, and I can only read as good as it's typed out. So
You are doing perfectly well.
thank you, thank you. Again, allow me to bow.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this coin flipped. Tails. So I got to defend the dad.
Good
Okay.
luck with that.
Well, let's see what I can do. Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
And time starts now. So the dad made a huge accomplishment by completing a master's degree, which there is an equivalent to a high school diploma, which is called a GED. It's a it's a fancier way of saying you got it, congratulations, but not when you should have.
Okay.
That's kind of
Uh-huh.
what the GED is. Um, the master's is something that requires a lot more dedication, a lot more hard work. You can't screw off on a master's degree. I mean, you technically can if you're that type of person where you pick up everything just by hearing it once and it stays in your head. But there's a lot more studying, there's a lot more sacrifices to have to be made when you're earning a master's degree. You can't like in high school, right? You get your PE, you get your lunch breaks, you get this, you get that, you get some homework. I know. I went to high school for 4 years myself, so I know. Um, master's degree, my mom got, so I saw the type of sacrifices she had to make. You know, staying late up studying. All these reports and essays have to be written. All these there is no PE class, there is no recess, there is none of that. So the amount of effort that goes into getting these degrees is a lot higher than what you would a high school diploma. Now, granted, yes, he could share the wall, but ultimately he wants to show this off as like, hey, this is my wall of accomplishments. This is my wall. You can choose any other wall you want in the house, but this wall right here, this is my house because this is my wall because I want to show people my accomplishments as they come in. And he's happy for himself, right? He just got the master's degree, and he just received it. So I think if had the wife said, "Hey, you know what? How about this? How about we wait about 6 or 8 months? We leave yours on there for about 6 or 8 months, and then we put up your, our daughter's high school if graduation photo up next to yours, and you guys can both share the wall." I think he might have been a little bit more receptive to it. But at the moment, his emotion got the best of him, his feelings got the best of him, and he wanted the wall to himself, and it's his wall. So, and he paid the bills.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
And yeah, you're right. I guess
That does not matter.
You're right. I'm trying to find an argument here, and I'm pulling reasons out of my butt here just to try to find a way to. So, and that's not how I think, anyways. So.
I know it's not.
I know. I'm just trying to find reasons to defend this guy. But that's my spiel. So I'll play for yours. Go for it.
Okay, I had to grab a notepad. I got it too late, so
I'm sorry. Was my reading that bad?
No,
Oh.
I was gonna get a notepad because you said something that I wanted to argue off of, because I'm Dory and I forget everything like a split second after I hear it. But by the time I got
Just
the
keep
paper
swimming.
and pen, yeah, exactly. By the time I got the paper and pen, I already forgotten. So first things first.
Hi, my name is Magic Bananas.
How small
Ding.
do you have to be? Ding. How small do you have to be a grown man and say, "No, I want this wall all to myself. This 18-year-old cannot share the wall with me." No. That is your stepdaughter, and graduating high school is a big accomplishment. Especially for when you want to go out and you're 18.
They have a GED equivalent here. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, if you then make a big deal when it is a GED. When it's high school, no, that is an accomplishment. And when it's your 18-year-old daughter, you are not going to take that away from her. That's literally telling her, no, your hard work and the time that you've put into it, being 18 years old, no, sorry, it's not as good as a master's. So we're going to take down your accomplishment and we're going to put his up instead. No, that's wrong.
But that is the case, though. I mean, if you show up to a job, right? If I'm an interviewer and I got these two resumes on my desk, and I'm looking at somebody who's got a master's degree in the field of study of where their career is trying to take off versus a high school student, I'm gonna choose the master's degree time and time again. So it is a much greater accomplishment when you refer to that. And I'm looking at it as like, look, I graduated with a 3.6, 3.7 GPA from high school, okay? And I skipped class quite a bit. So you can't do that with a master's degree. A master's degree, you miss a certain amount of times from class, guess what? You get booted out. In high school, that doesn't happen. Yeah, you might have a sit-in with the principal, have your teachers come in, your parents come in to have to sit with the principal, talk about, discuss why you're missing so much, and at some point it might even involve the cops later on. But you could miss quite a bit before it gets to that point. As a master's plan, or as a master's degree, you cannot do that. The second you start to do that, guess what? You get booted from the class, and now you got to double up on it. It does suck. So it does take a much higher level of discipline to get your master's degree than it does a high school degree.
Okay, but you're still a grown man. You are still a grown man who has already had his accomplishments. Okay, when you get a GED, there's not really like graduation ceremonies, and there's no big parties and things like that for when you get your GED. Getting your GED is still an accomplishment, but it's a special thing when you have your high school diploma, because you were there for 4 years and you put in the hard work. You did what you could so that you could graduate. So for the daughter to imagine knowing that her photo has been there. I'm trying to think, did they say? No, they don't say how long it was there, but the way that she puts it, it's there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
To see your photo be there and you're proud of yourself, you put in the hard work, and just seeing that encourages you to continue following your dream. For then your stepdad to come in and say, no, my picture is going to be here instead. Not only does that belittle her, belittle her accomplishments, that also makes her feel like nothing, because she means nothing to her stepdad.
Think of this as a life lesson. I mean, when you go out into the real world, you're gonna get passed up when you're probably gonna be the most qualified over other people.
Yeah,
But
you're right, and especially as a woman. But this is the thing. When the whole world turns on you, who is supposed to be there for you? Your family.
mhm.
So if she has her, no, not if she has, if her stepdad takes down her photo to replace him there and not even let her photo be on the same wall, shows that her stepdad is not going to be there for her when she needs him the most. And by extension, the same thing for the mom, because the mom let it happen. She let the stepdad's ego win something so trivial.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, it doesn't make sense because he is excited for his new accomplishment. This is a brand new accomplishment for him, right? So he completed something that he's worked so hard for. Yes, so has she, right? You graduated high school, but that's not where education ends. Education is continuing, right? So she's not done. He completed high school. He completed grade school. Let's go in order. He completed kindergarten, grade school, elementary, high school, college, master's. So he's completed his full run. So he's like, hey, I finished the race. She's halfway through the race. So why should he have to give up his wall that he's so excited for, finally achieving this dream that he's had since he was a child, when she's only mid-race?
Because by doing that, you're setting her up. Okay, he obviously has the confidence in himself to be able to say, I can go and get my master's, and I deserve this spot on the wall to be here only.
Okay, so then how
Obviously,
about...
he has the wait. Obviously, he has the confidence for that. She's 18 years old.
Okay.
If they get her photo and they bring it down to put his, she's still young enough to where it will start to change and develop how she views things in the world.
But how different is it for them to hang it up in the hallway? And then
Exactly. How
tell her,
different is it for him to be hung up in the hallway?
okay, well, what if he said, hey, when you get your master's degree, we'll go ahead and put you on this wall. Once you show me you've completed the race, right? When you go to your boss, right, at work, and you tell him, and you got two people going up to this boss, right? You got the first one that says, hey boss, I completed the entire task, I completed the entire project, here you go. And he goes, oh, awesome, cool, here you go. You're gonna get this bonus. And then you got person number two coming over here and be like, hey boss, I completed half of the project. How can you expect the same level of encouragement from your boss when you've completed half the assignment?
Okay, but this is not something that you can compare to that. This
is a real world experience, right? She's
Yeah.
gonna experience all kinds of unfairness. Life is unfair, period.
Yeah,
right?
it
Everybody's
is.
dealt with different cars, so life is not fair. So this would be, in my opinion, a very good, valuable lesson to her, to teach her, hey, life is not fair. Welcome to the real world, but you can do something about it if you so choose to put in the work for it.
Okay, so say that she does put in the work, and
Mhm.
say that she gets her master's. By the way this man sounds, he still would not let her share
By
the
the
wall.
by the time she gets her master's degree, he will have already been over it, gotten his job, off his ego, and down to say, hey, let's share the wall. Because now the new accomplishment comes in.
No, if you are saying, no, I need this wall to myself, she can either go to one of the bedrooms or the hallway. That ego is never coming down. This man obviously thinks very highly of himself to be able to claim a wall. How childish can you be that you're not going to let your stepdaughter, an 18-year-old, not have a spot on the wall? Which, by the way, it is not just his wall. That is the family wall.
Well, in answer to your question of how childish can you be, there's this saying that goes, men don't become less childish. Our toys just get bigger and more expensive. But I I let you finish your point. I didn't want to interrupt your point while we are past the 10 minutes. But I didn't want to interrupt your point and just say, hey, we're at 10 minutes. You got to stop talking. No, I wanted you to finish your point. So we are at the 10-minute mark. I'm gonna give my true opinion on this. My true opinion on this is this guy is being a total jerk. This so to the poster, if you hear this, you are not in the wrong on this. You are absolutely right. I mean, this is your daughter. As a parent myself, I want my children to exceed what I've accomplished. Right? They're my children. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow. And as their father, I'm going to say, hey, I don't care if you accomplish your first step, or your doctorate, or you'll just landed on the moon, or whatever it is you just did. But I'm going to celebrate your accomplishment to let you know, hey, keep it up. You're doing a good job, because I know that the world is going to be against you. So knowing that you have somebody on your side to keep encouraging you and have and supporting your every decision and your accomplishments, it's going to be big for you.
Yeah.
So as a father of myself, this guy's being petty. This guy's being very petty. The wall is big enough for the both of them. The wall is big enough for the entire family probably. But due to your ego, you're not letting that happen, and you are definitely in the wrong for that, because that is your children. That is your children. You should be fully supportive of your children. Now, if they're mom's wanting to post, and hang every single drawing that they've done, every single homework assignment that they've done, then yes, I 100% agree with the dad on this. But no, a this is a significant moment for your child. They just completed high school, and this is a big accomplishment. High school is a big accomplishment, right? It's leading from your adolescence into your into adulthood child. Well, yeah, I guess you could say that, right? Because we're all children in some way. But yeah, they're going from adolescence into adulthood. So encourage it, nurture it. That's just my opinion, though. So, poster, if you happen to be listening to this, you are not in the wrong for this, and that's my take on it.
And it's pretty obvious mine. I got the right one to defend. That guy is being an idiot.
I wouldn't call it an idiot. It's just
Yeah, I would call him an idiot because he's he's acting like such a child. No, I get this one to myself.
that's how we see it. But again, we don't know his background. We don't know how he's raised. We don't know all that stuff. But when you look at logic and in general, I 100% agree with the poster. So the poster's not wrong. But you know what? It's not called you be the judge as in we be the judge. It's called you be the judge as in dear listeners, our listeners will be the judges. So let us know, judges. Let us know what you guys think for the past two stories. Story number one, story number two. Let us know what you guys think and give us your thoughts and opinions on it. And let us know, give us different perspectives. See what you guys can come up with.
We're just very janky lawyers.
Speak for yourself.
Mhm.
I'd be a bad lawyer too. I can't read. I can't read to save my life. How do they expect me to read anything for this for a courtroom setting if I
Uh-huh.
had to? Like, Judge, can we please have this person redo the writing, please? Redo the writing.
They just tell you sit there and look pretty.
I failed. Okay, go ahead. Your turn. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
Am I in the wrong for leaving before my sister's wedding ceremony started and leaving someone else in charge of my responsibility? My female sister got married on Friday. She and I are twins, so we are very close and we're best friends. She is child free, and I have two kids, a 3-month old and a 1-year old. Obviously, she loves her nephews. She has never mistreated them, but she is not a person who would accept being a baby sister, sorry, accept being a babysitter for a day. She has never offered to help with anything, though it's her choice and I respect that. Not surprisingly, her marriage was child free even for the family. She asked me to be her maid of honor and I accepted. I was responsible for a few things at the ceremony and party, nothing complex, but I asked another bridesmaid for help, so she was also on top of everything. My children stayed with my in laws while my husband and I went to the wedding. About 10 minutes before everything started, I was there for 2 hours, by the way, my in laws called saying that my youngest hit his head while playing with my oldest and that they were taking him to the hospital. I despaired, even though they said he was conscious, my heart was not at peace nor my husband's. So we decided to go to the hospital. I talked to the bridesmaid and explained everything that I had to do. She accepted, and when it was time to talk to my sister, she had a meltdown, saying that I couldn't go at the most important event of her life, and if I was choosing him instead of her. I got really irritated and said, "Yes, I choose my son in the hospital." I left with her cursing me. My son is fine, but he got 2 stitches without any internal trauma. They did exams, but we only left the hospital the other day because they prefer to put him under observation because he's very young. I preferred to stay away from my cell phone just like my husband. When I got home, several calls from different people and I answered. Wait, hold on. When I got home, I had several calls from different people and I answered when I saw my sisters. She asked before how my son was, and when she learned that it was just a minor injury, she started screaming, saying that I abandoned her at the most important moment of her life and that she was without family in her own marriage. No parents, no grandparents. I left my responsibilities to a person who did everything wrong and caused an embarrassment. And to make matters worse, I didn't even want to show up since my husband could stay in the hospital while I would at least share this moment with her. She called me several names until my husband took the cell phone out of my hand and told her to screw off. I really could have at least gone to the party, but I wasn't going to make it knowing my baby is in the hospital. I can't help but feel bad for my sister. Am I in the wrong?
Okay, before we start the defense on this one, again, as a parent, my children come first. Period. No matter what.
Yep.
Period. And if I know that my child is in the hospital for what could be a concussion or something worse, especially a head injury, because head injuries can lead them into something far worse,
Yeah.
my children will always come first. Okay,
Yep.
I lived, and the reason why this is a little touchy to me is I lived, and I'm saying lived in the hospital for the first 3 weeks of our second born son. Well, this is when he was born because he was in the NICU for 3 weeks fighting for his life, and I lived at the hospital. I mean, there
Mhm.
was a couple times that the nurses had to kind of kick me out because they said that I wasn't sleeping and I wasn't eating, and they were fearing for my safety.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I don't care who you are. My children will always come first. Period.
And just so people understand, since we're bringing that up, the reason why I wasn't there is because I have severe asthma,
Yeah.
and I had part of my asthma is I get coughing fits.
Yeah, her cough attacks get pretty bad, and to the point where
It
sometimes she can't even finish a sentence without
yeah.
coughing at least 20 times in between the sentence, and it.
Obviously, because it's the NICU, the nurses don't want to take a chance
Mhm.
of my word being it's just my asthma.
Yeah,
So they didn't let me into the NICU to see my baby for the first 3 weeks. I
yeah,
literally didn't get to see him until the day before they released him from the hospital because that's when my asthma had finally come under control.
yeah. They actually had forced us to have a letter from a doctor stating that she was not sick. Like she had to make an appointment with a doctor, uh, get a letter from the doctor stating, and it had to be her primary healthcare physician. It couldn't be any random doctor. It had to be her primary healthcare physician writing a letter stating, yes, she has asthma. It is severe right now. She is not sick with anything. Um, in order for her to actually be led into the NICU. And when we finally were able to get a hold of that letter, because the doctors didn't really want to do that, when we finally got a hold of that letter and we took geometric bananas to go see our baby, they actually let him go on the spot because he had already started getting better. So she didn't get to see him for the first 3 weeks of his life, other than the first, what, 5 minutes that you had him on your on your
Yeah.
chest when he was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty rough story. So because of personal experiences, my child will always come first. I don't care what you say. I don't care how mad you get. My child comes first. Period. So
Mhm.
that I just felt that a little personal, and I wanted to throw that out there because it got a little too personal, a little too personal for me. So
Triggered.
a little bit, yes, a little bit, yes. And when it comes to my children, I will always be on the easily triggered.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same.
so here we go. You get tails, so
I
you,
have to
you have to
Oh
defend
my
the
god.
the. Okay, let's go for it.
Ugh.
This is gonna be fun. So you have to oh my goodness. Okay. This is fun. I love this. I love doing this with you. I just have literally I just have one thing to really to say to you, and it's
Damn.
All right. Ugh.
okay. So you got starting the clock, and since you were the reader, you get to defend first. Ready and go.
Ugh. Okay.
You can do this.
Uh, eh. Okay. So if you're a twin, you have a more special bond than just regular siblings because you were in the womb together, and they even say that twins have like this really special connection to where if one is feeling something, the other one feels it.
I'm actually, you know what? I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm actually intrigued by the fact that you said that because I actually went to school with 3 sets of twins. Okay, throughout different, not all at the same time, but in while I was in school, I went to school at 3 different times with different sets of twins, and they all said the same thing, that it actually is a true thing. So if
Yeah.
if you're a listener and you're a twin, please let us know if that's true in one of the comments because I would love. I find that so fascinating. So if that is true and you're a twin, please let us know and let us know how that works out because that's actually kind of cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought that was really fascinating point you brought up. Go for it.
Yeah, and see, I actually know somebody who is a twin, and the twin passed away, but the one that I know is surviving. And she says that there is moments where if she's just by herself, kind of like with alone with her thoughts, that she feels that emptiness because you don't have your twin. So it is definitely being a twin is not just like being, you know, sisters or brother and sister, whatever. There's something special there. So it makes a lot of sense when she says that they're best friends. For when you get married, and especially since she says right here, where is it? I think that she doesn't like kids. She loves her nephews, but as a person, she doesn't like kids. So when you are not planning on having kids, there's going to be that moment less of big important events in your life. One of the biggest events that's going to happen in your life is to get married. And not having, it doesn't get into the specifics of why the parents were not there and why the grandparents were not there. But the only family that you have there is your sister, your twin. So for her to disappear, knowing even after she found out that the injury was minor, she could have come back just to give at least a little support. You know, okay, fine. If you don't want to do the responsibilities in case you have to take off again, okay, fine. But at least be there for me. Yes, this is a happy occasion. Yes, I'm starting a new path in my life, but this is still scary. And I need my sister's support in this so that I know I have you with me in case I need you. And that's what all I've got for now. So I need you to take over.
The funny thing is, the main part of your entire argument that I focused on, and yeah, I heard the whole thing, but the main part that I focused on is you said, you know, the one twin that had a deceased twin. Can you imagine being grown up, like, and then, you know, you're saying you have a connection to your sibling. Well, your sibling's deceased, right? So if I was a sibling and I'd be in the house and I hear a voice, oh, hey, no, I'm burning this house down, running out of here, dude. that is a big nope for me. I do not want connection.
Yeah.
Sorry, dark sense of humor right there. My bad. So I'm gonna, for my argument, I'm gonna go back to what I said before we even started this debate. Is my children come first? I need to make sure my children are gonna be safe, and I'm not gonna put my children's safety or my children's lives on hold for your wedding. I get this is your big day, but that's why something's called emergency, right? This is an emergency. It's unexpected. It's not planned. It's not like the sister said, "Hey, can you make sure you know my kids get hurt so that I can just leave?" No, that's not what happened. They were playing. You know, the one got hurt to the point where he had to get stitches on his head which could have amounted to something a lot worse, right? But you just don't know because you're not there, right? So could she have gone back to the wedding after she realized, hey, you know what, it's not a really big deal? She could have. But the fact of the matter is that the hospital wanted to keep him there for a few days. So you're going to want to stay there to find out what's going on with your kid, how he got hurt, or not how he got hurt, but how bad he got hurt, in case it turns into something a lot worse. It's a head injury, so a head injury could be something that doesn't really develop for quite a while after, but you just want to be there to make sure your child is safe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. I see what you're saying, but like I said, she could have left the responsibilities to the person that she left them to.
She did. She left the responsibilities to the person.
But what I'm saying is that she could have just made a quick go back real fast, maybe eat, have the reception meal with them. The husband was already going to stay. The father of her baby was already going to be there. So it actually would have been better because the husband said he was going to stay with the baby. The parents, her in-laws, could have gone back home with the oldest.
I mean, her own parents and grandparents didn't want to go to her wedding. That tells you something.
And so the in-laws could have taken the oldest home. The husband could have stayed with the baby. You're obviously going to trust your husband, the father of your kids, to stay with them and let you know if anything goes wrong. She could have just gone back really quick, say, I'm not going to stay long because I am going to go back to the hospital. But I wanted to come just to show my support. I'm going to eat, hang out with you for just a little while, and then I'm going to leave.
But she was there for 2 hours. Right? She was there for 2 hours helping out, so she made her presence known already. She had already followed up with her responsibilities, some of them, for 2 hours. So it's not like she completely abandoned her. She was there.
It was 10 minutes before everything started. So yeah, she was there for 2 hours, but she basically was helping getting things set up.
Yeah.
So ceremony.
Once everything's set up, the hard part's done.
The ceremony. She wasn't even there for the ceremony. Because it says right here.
I mean, do you really?
About
I do.
10
I
minutes.
do. You're good. Go enjoy your honeymoon. She needs to be there for that part.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the actual joining of the two people.
Over your child's life.
Like I said, when the husband said that he was going to be there, that he was going to stay, she could have just came back and made a quick appearance knowing that he was okay.
Yeah, but this is a head trauma. A head trauma can turn for the worse at any given moment. That's a head trauma, right? If it was a leg, I get it. If it was an arm, I get it. Your abdomen, your I don't know, anything but the head, because the head trauma is always the worst. Because the head trauma can turn into something much worse when you least expect it. So what if she would have gone back and it would have turned into something worse, and God forbid something would have happened to him, I don't know, something. I'm trying to avoid saying death here of a child because, it just hits too close to home, but the death of a child, right? And at that point, now you got a bigger problem, right? Now you have a bigger problem because now you're going to hold your sister accountable for the fact that you were not there. Now you've just ruined an entire relationship for the rest of your life because she held you to a standard, and and not only are you going to ruin your relationship with your sister because of that, but you're also going to hold yourself responsible for not being there to say goodbye to that child. You're like, dang, I chose my sister over my child, and I was not there for my child when he needed me. And now you're going to hold that for the rest of your life to yourself.
Okay, but like I said, the husband was there.
Okay.
Should have, but if anything, they had already said it was a minor injury and he was getting 2 stitches. We are just going to keep him here as a precaution just to make sure everything is going to stay okay, but he's okay, and we already did exams.
If everything was truly safe, would they have said, we're going to keep him here just to make sure he's okay?
Well, yeah, because you don't want to double, like, you don't want to double. You don't want to send him off, and then on the off chance that something does happen.
So then it's not 100% okay then.
It's basically the hospital taking care of themselves
Yeah,
because they don't want a lawsuit on their hands.
correct. Because in case something happens, because it's a head injury, it's a head trauma. So because it's a head trauma, they know that it can turn for the worst at any given moment. So
But at that moment, if something would have happened for the worst, there would have been at least a warning from machines or something. Doctors are running in.
not always. Trust me, not always.
Well, my point is the husband would have had a chance to call her up and say, "You need to get down here now."
I don't know. I let you finish your point on that one. We are past the 10 minutes.
Okay, okay, fine. Past the 10 minutes, no, never leave your kid.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. No,
yeah.
I don't care if you are my twin. I don't care if you are my father, my wife. Wait, no, no, because the wife would not be getting married because you're my wife, right? Obviously. The father, the mother, the daughter, the I mean, even the daughter, in my opinion, if one of your kids in the hospital, like, I'm sorry, but even at my own wedding, if one of my children, I mean, we didn't have our children when we got married. We didn't have any children when we got married, but let's say we did, and one of them
Mhm.
got hurt to the point where they need to go to the hospital. I'd expect both of us to leave our wedding, our own wedding, to make sure our child is okay.
Yeah, of course. Especially that young, 3 months old.
Exactly. Because that head has not closed yet.
Exactly. So, and for stitches, oh my gosh,
hmm
I can't.
On a 3 month old.
Yeah,
See, and
I
that's kind
mean,
of what I was holding to, and I could have brought that out during my argument, and I just honestly completely forgot that he was 3 months old. But that's a very, very critical age, especially to get
yeah,
hit at that age on the head to where you need stitches. That could amount to something very dangerous. But
yeah.
so to the poster, you are not in the wrong in our opinion. You did what you were supposed to do, and your sister is the a-hole for acting that way. For you
Especially
can't
for screaming at her and saying,
yeah.
"You're choosing him over me." Yes,
Yes, that's your child. It came out of
yeah,
you. I might have been in the womb with you, but this one came out of my womb, you know?
yes,
So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But
yeah.
again, like I said, this is called "You Be the Judge," not us, but the listeners. So the listeners, give us a heads up on what you guys think. Let us know what you the different approach, what side you guys think is in the right, what side you guys think is in the wrong, and just give us different perspectives if you guys can bring it to the table. All right, so on that note, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And I'm going to be reading this one for you. I will attempt to at least. Am I in the wrong for letting my pregnant coworker get in trouble? That already sounds wrong. Just the title alone.
Just off the bat.
Okay, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. English isn't my first language, so I apologize if there's any mistakes. Great, she's already setting me up for a bad reading. That's awesome, and she gave me a warning up front too. That's awesome. Okay, so I, a 24-year-old female, work in an office job. I have a coworker, Anne, 28 female. Anne is currently pregnant and is around 6 months pregnant. We have a dedicated break room where we go for lunch, as we aren't allowed to eat anything or drink anything except water bottles in the office because of the computers. We all have our own break schedules that are the same every day. Anne and I go to break together. Our lunch break is from 13:30 to 14:30. Okay, based on the way she wrote these times, clearly they're not in the U.S., which amounts to 1:30 and 2:30.
1709.
1709 for you Kevin and Bean fans that know the reference. Um, but yeah, so this is 13:30 to 14:30. So this is 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. No one else is on the schedule and take their breaks earlier or later. In the break room, there's a few chairs and a couple of couches. Over the past 2 weeks, Anne had started taking naps on one of the couches during her lunch break. I know it's none of my business as to what she does on her break, so she can do whatever she wants. Last Friday, Anne and I were taking our breaks as usual. I was listening to music on my headphones, and when it was around 14:30 or 2:30, I got up and got back to work. I didn't really pay attention to what Anne was doing. Everyone was confused and was saying, "Where's Anne? Where's Anne?" By around 1500, which is 3 p.m., because they needed her and our boss went into the break room and Anne was still sleeping. Anne got a warning from our boss. Anne is now angry with me because our breaks end at the same time, so I should have woken her up. She said I'm selfish and careless, and a lot of our coworkers are on Anne's side and agree. I told Anne if she can't wake up, she shouldn't be sleeping during her break. She said she had a baby, which makes her tired, and accused me of calling her lazy and being insensitive. So it looks like the poster added and edited a little something. So here's a bit of an edit to that story. When my break was ending, I was scrolling on my phone and listening to music. I have ADHD. Woo! I can relate to that. When I do these things, I'm quite oblivious to my surroundings. I didn't wake up and I did not. Hold on. I didn't not wake up Anne because of malice. Okay, so she didn't do it on purpose. If Anne had asked me to wake her up, I would have done so. At our workplace, we can't just leave our workstations. If I left to go look for Anne after getting back to work, I would have gotten in trouble myself. Our boss was already looking for Anne because some of our coworkers needed her for something. Am I in the wrong? And let's jump right into it. So let's go ahead and flip this coin. And I got heads. All right, so I am defending the poster.
Ding.
I am defending the poster. Um, you read it, right? No,
So
I
you're
read it.
defending your own kind.
I'm defending my own kind.
Yeah, you're both ADHD.
Yes, I am defending my own kind, my own
So
ADHD
this should be
person.
easy for you.
We'll see. Uh, so I am defending our poster about letting her coworker get in trouble. Let me start the clock so we can get this going. I accidentally closed out the clock. Whoops. Let me open it back up. Okay. So here we go. 2 minutes starting now. So as if you know, right, that from this time to this time, that's when you have to go back to work, and you know you're gonna fall asleep. One, set a timer up for yourself, right? Because yes, you're pregnant, and yes, you're experiencing whatever you're going through. I saw what you went through when you got pregnant with both of our kids, so I know you're definitely experiencing different emotions, hormonal changes, all kinds of body changes, and I get you're tired and all this other stuff. But if you're being in a professional setting, right, then you have to have some sort of accountability for yourself as well. Set up an alarm, right? Step one. Number two, she's right next to you. You could have asked her, hey, can you wake me up as soon as our time is up? If you did tell her and she had her headphones on, then it's your fault for not making sure that she heard you, because it is not her responsibility to wake you up. You're the one who fell asleep. You're the one who has to get back to your desk. You're the one that has to perform at work. Yes, I get you're pregnant, but you could have done and taken a few extra measures to make sure that you were back to work on time. It is nobody else's responsibility but your own. So you are pregnant. Now you're at work. There were measures that you could have taken to avoid this from happening, right? You could have let your coworker know, hey, can you wake me up after this time? Two, set up an alarm. It's quite simple in my opinion. That's all I got.
Okay, when you're pregnant, you get the you have your hormones are like
You have your
crazy.
Yeah, you definitely
You
have
your
your
Your hormones are crazy, yes. And me with both of our kids, I would pass out wherever I was.
I remember. I have to throw this out there. I'm sorry, I have to put you on the spot like this, but I have to do it. I still remember one time we went to IKEA. You passed out on one of the beds, and you know what the funny thing is? I didn't wake you up on purpose because I saw people passing by pointing at you like, "Oh my gosh, she's asleep," and I'm over here like, "Hee hee hee."
Yeah, before we even knew that I was pregnant, I
Yeah.
had passed out on a couch at Costco when I went there with my
Oh, I
mom.
remember that.
Yeah. And she came up to me and she's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know.
I don't know, but I got tired. The bed looked good. Pass it out.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it that you literally have no control over what happens to you.
Hmm.
When you're pregnant, the baby is the one in control. And your body is the one in control. So she probably, and plus at 6 months pregnant, that's when you're already like, okay, it's too hot and it's too cold at the same time. You're already starting to get uncomfortable.
Hmm.
You can, I think, if I remember correctly, at 6 months you already can no longer sleep on your back. And you know me, I'm a back sleeper. So you cannot be on your back because at that point the baby is already too heavy to be on you. So you have to be on your side. So you're very, very uncomfortable already. So she probably is not sleeping at night. Plus, with everything that's going on, all the changes in her body, she's just needing that break so that she can nap. So when she goes to take that nap, she probably just was so tired it slipped her mind to set up an alarm for herself. If she needs, not if she needs, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Her and her coworker, they both take their naps at the same time. Their naps. they
Wow.
both
So
they both take their break.
at this employer you get a nap time, man.
Yeah.
I miss that at my employers.
You get, oh my god. You
Words are hard, guys.
Okay. They both take their breaks at the same time. I get how ADHD works being married to you. I have a better understanding of it.
Hmm.
But it would not have taken much for her to just glance, especially since
Exactly.
since she knows that Anne has been sleeping lately on her breaks. It wouldn't have taken much for her to just glance over at Anne, just to see, you know what, she's been napping lately. Let me make sure she's up. It's a common courtesy, especially when she's pregnant.
Okay, so we're gonna make I'm not gonna say excuses, but it's called for what it is, an excuse, right? That you're pregnant and that's why you didn't set up the alarm, that's why you didn't ask the person. You're not void of all responsibility, right? You can't you can't uh you can't be pregnant, hurt somebody on the street and be like, oopsie, sorry, I'm pregnant. You're not void of all
No, you're right.
you're not
Yeah.
void of all responsibility. Could the poster taken the courtesy and woken her up? Yeah, she could have. But at the same time, she just mentioned she has ADHD, so you get very, let me rephrase this, very, one more time, very easily distracted when you have ADHD. And again, I'm pretty sure you've seen it many times in our marriage.
Yeah, I get that, and especially since at least our oldest got the ADHD part from you. But this is the thing. It doesn't take a lot to be a courteous human being, a courteous coworker.
Yeah, but what does decency have anything to do with it? What if she was already in her head, she was planning things out, she didn't even think twice about it, because it's not her responsibility to do so, right? So if it's not her responsibility to do so, it wasn't in the back of her head, it wasn't in her mind, she was in her own mindset, and she even clearly stated in there she was already like heavily focused into something. So her coworker Anne was never even a thought in her mind. What if we don't know the way the shape of this break room now? If the couch is on the way to the exit and she's there laying down, okay, I can see that argument. Like, hey, just a little nudge. It's time to get back to work. But if it's in the back, outside, out of mind, and you're doing your own thing, it's not your responsibility to have to wake up your coworker. That's their responsibility, not yours. Okay, you tapping out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll stop the time there. And I just want to say my personal opinion to the poster. You are not the jerk in this because it is not your responsibility. Yes, she's
Agreed.
pregnant. Yes, she's hormonal. Yes, she's all over the place right now because of everything that's going on with her body. But she didn't take that extra measure to one, set a timer up for yourself, be responsible. Two, again, be responsible and let your coworker know, hey, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm really tired. This pregnancy has me beat up. Can you wake me up when it's time to go back to work?
Exactly. And
Those simple things.
she even said in the post that had Anne asked her,
Hmm.
she would have woken her up.
Yeah, I mean, you made the assumption that she was gonna do it already. You made it seem as if it was uh oh man, I had the word in my head and I just lost it. But you made the assumption. You made the assumption that she was gonna wake you up, and that was your mistake.
Yeah, and she didn't have to
And
do
she
that.
didn't have to do that. So, and you don't know what type of headspace. What if this would have happened? What if our poster would have gone up to the restroom, went in the restroom, and stayed there for 30 minutes on TikTok the way I do, and and then got back to work, right? now we're left at this point where of the same. We're back at that point. Blah, blah, blah. We're back at square one where you were left on the couch sleeping because, and now you're gonna blame our poster because she went to the restroom. Like, where do you draw the line here?
Yeah.
So that's just my personal opinion.
But it is not up to us. You, the listeners, are the judge.
That's exactly it. That's why it's called You Be the Judge. So you, the listeners, be the judge. Let us know what you guys think. Give us your perspective, your outtake, different approaches, and let us know what you guys think. So let's, that was story number 4. I was actually going to cut story number 4 out. I'm glad I did not, because it was not too long of a read. And I want to add one thing for not speaking English. I actually she wrote it very well, grammatically well, and I actually did not mess up. So I would like to point out that thank you. Thank you. I'm the first one that has gone through a story without messing up. So, yay!
Hey, I almost made it with that
You
first one.
did, you did, you did. You were very, very close. We'll get you a sticker or something.
You're the worst.
I know. All right, well, everybody, that's a wrap for today. So let us know your thoughts and the arguments and who you think is in the wrong. And don't forget to write to us on either YouTube, TikTok, IG, it's Facebook, and all the social medias ever. Let us know what your thoughts are, who won, and the different perspective, whatever you guys can bring to the table, let us know. And if there's a story you would like us to read or even feature a story that had happened to you or a situation you are familiar with, please email it to ohsojudgy@gmail.com. Don't worry, we'll keep the names discreet so that way you don't get caught. Until next time, you be the judge.
You be the judge right now. Come on now and be the judge. You be the judge.
Oops. All right, I'm stopping the recording right now.
All right.